Hey, what's up my friends? Welcome back to my kitchen. In this video, I'm gonna do a quick test and review of the Foodi Smoothie Bowl Maker and nutrient extractor. In this video, I'm gonna go over all of the features, how to use this system, all of the settings, how it is to clean it. We're gonna do an ice crushing test, a smoothie bowl test, and then we're gonna do a smoothie test. We're also gonna test the sound to see how loud this thing is. Really quick, I wanna mention two things. Ninja did not support this video or sponsor it. They did not send me this unit. I spent my own money on it so that I could test it and be objective in my testing and my review of this product. And secondly, if you decide you want to buy one of these Ninja Foodies, I've put the link in the description below. If you use that link, it tosses me a few bucks, doesn't cost you anything more, helps me make these videos. So let's get into it. First, let's start with the contents of the box. You're looking at all of it here. Obviously, you have the motor base right here with a lot of controls that we're gonna talk about in just a second. You have the blender base, the blender lid base right here. And then you have the acai bowl or smoothie bowl cup with a really mysterious twisty thing. I'm gonna show you that in just a second. Then you have two smoothie cups right here. The max capacity on these smoothie cups is 21 ounces or 644 milliliters. The max on the smoothie cup, it actually doesn't say it on it, but I think it's like 24 ounces, something like that. Right? Then you have a solid to-go lid with no drinking spot out of it. This is for preservation. You could put in the fridge, all that kind of stuff. And you get two of the on-the-go or to-go smoothie cup lids that have a nice little flip lid like this and a drinking spot. It seals up nicely and it fits perfectly on all of these cups. Now let's take a look at some of the details. Let's start with the base. And first thing you're noticing is I'm having a hard time picking it up. That's because there's suction cups on the bottom of the base, which is so nice. And they're only in the front here. Everything else, you have these really nice padded grooved feet right here. Grooved, that's a word, I promise. So when you put the base down, automatically the weight of the base suctions it to the cabinet. It's gonna prevent it from moving around too much. Actually, if you wanna take it off the cabinet easily, you just lift it from the back and that pops the suction cups up off of the countertop. It's about 2.5 foot power cord, so you do need to be somewhat close to power source. That's pretty standard for all blenders. You can get a close look here at the suction cups. That's a good look at the top of the unit. And you have this wheel here. There's not a lot of space right here, and there are some cracks and crevices. So if you get spills down in there, it can be a little bit challenging to clean. Now let's look at the controls on the front of the unit. So as soon as you plug this in, the power's on. There is no power button. That's different than some of the other Ninja models that I've tested, but it does have a safety feature, which is if the cup is not locked down in it, it will not operate. I'll show you that in just a second. So we have standard start and stop. That's just your manual operation at normal speed and power. You have pulse. So as long as you're holding that button down, it's gonna run. Then you have two sections of pre-programmed what they call Smart IQ or something like that. And it knows the speed and the time and the pulsating that's needed in order to do these things. So the one thing about this that I think is so funny is they call it a nutrient extraction mode. And this is the nutrient extraction cup. So you have extract here, and these are your drinkable side. So these are gonna be lower power, less time. You have smoothie, and that's a pretty standard setting as well. On this side, you have the spoonables. So these are gonna be your higher power, longer time settings. These are made for things that are gonna be thicker, and you have bowl. I don't actually know the difference between those two. I'm just guessing time and maybe pulsing. Spread would be like if you're making like a chip dip. And then bowl, that's the acai bowls that are a lot thicker than what a smoothie would be. So those are all your settings on the front side of the unit. Let's take a closer look at the cups. So here's the base of the cup. You got your threaded base around the perimeter. You've got this gnarly looking blade right here that's supposed to chop up anything and everything. Here's the back side of it. And then you have this nutrient extractor cup, which is so interesting to me because you have this top right here that twists. So basically what it is that this is a tamper. You know the experience of putting too much stuff in your blender and not enough liquid and turning it on and all of it gets stuck to the side and stuff doesn't go down and the blade just spins and spins and spins. This is meant to prevent that. So we're gonna test that and see if it actually works. Then you have your pretty standard smoothie cups. You have measurements on the side. You have your threaded top. Of course, this is compatible with the to-go cup or the storage lid. And again, the max capacities of these are 21 ounces and 644 milliliters. And the cost of this unit comes in at about $90 USD. The first test I wanna do with you is the ice test. I wanna see how fine it can get this ice. A lot of these Ninja blenders, you can actually blend ice up to be as flaky and smooth as like a snow cone ice. And I wanna see if this one will do the same thing. We're also gonna do a sound test on each of these mixings. So first, to get a baseline on noise, I'm just gonna run the motor and get a reading on it. We gotta lock this in place. I'm gonna hit the smoothie button and see what the decibel meter reads. Okay, with nothing in it, the motor alone is 110.7 decibels. That's actually quite loud comparative to other blenders that I've tested. We're gonna keep this out and see what happens when we start to put things in it. To do the ice test, I'm just gonna use one of the smoothie cups. And again, I'm gonna use the smoothie mode to blend up this ice. Here we go. All right, with the ice in it, we hit 103.1 decibels, so 2 more decibels than just running the motor alone. And let's check out the ice. Oh, wow, that's so cool. Ooh. This ice is really thinly blended, but it all stuck up to the motor, and it's all compact. When I've done this before with other blenders, it keeps it really nice and fluffy. If you're thinking about like making mixed drinks or snow cones or something with this, probably not the best, but it definitely did blend it up really nice. Okay, so the next test I wanna do is the smoothie test. We're just gonna see how smoothly it blends. I highly expect this to be no problem for this blender at all. So what I'm gonna do is gonna take some almond milk and I'm gonna do probably about 6 to 7 ounces of almond milk. Just make sure we have enough liquid in there. Typically, I would load a blender with softest things first, hardest things last. I'm gonna load all of the frozen things in first. Got a little bit of ice. I like a lot of ice in my smoothie. I'm gonna throw in the frozen berries. That's about 3/4 cup frozen berries. I'm gonna do the Greek yogurt. This is about 3/4 cup of Greek yogurt. Baby kale, about a cup of baby kale. And then finally, last but not least, I'm gonna put in half of a fresh banana. Now, let's screw the lid on. This is pretty maxed out. I'm gonna use the smoothie setting. And of course, I'm gonna run my decibel meter so we can see what the noise does as we blend. The first couple cycles, it really wasn't getting any of the stuff, but then once it stopped and let everything settle, then it really took it up. Our top decibel on this was 102.6. That's pretty high for all the blenders that I've tested. By the way, if this blender's not right for you, I've tested and review a bunch of other blenders. You can check those videos out. Unscrew the lid here. Consistency is very smooth. There's not as much ice in it as I wanted there to be. Let's give it a taste. Ah, of course it's delicious. So the consistency is great. It's obviously very simple to load up. It did take a little while to actually get it blended. But let's do the smoothie bowl test and see how that goes. Smoothie bowls are typically much more simple of a recipe than like a smoothie. Really, all you do is you have your liquid of choice, and then the rest of it is just all frozen berries, whether that's acai or mixed berries. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill this cup up to the liquid max right there. With almond milk, I'm gonna go to the max fill line with the frozen berries. I'm gonna push it to the limit and just go a little bit more than the max fill line. We'll see what that does. Now remember, we have this tamper feature with this cup that we can spin while it's actually blending to help it get some of this substance down there. Now this could be interesting. I'm also gonna run our decibel meter. Of course, I'm gonna use the bowl setting here. So I'm just gonna push this and twist. I guess that's the full cycle. I was twisting the whole time like a madman. Let's take a look. Look at this consistency. I've never made acai bowls at home before, but that's very much what I've bought at like smoothie places. That's good. little tart. There's a pretty large piece of a blueberry right there. So there are still a couple of pieces that didn't get blended, but I can forgive that. You put this in a bowl, put some bananas and some blueberries and some almonds on it, maybe some coconut on the top, make it look really pretty. This is actually quite cool. Also, the max decibel in running the blender during the smoothie bowl mode was 106.1 decibels. All right, I'm gonna get this dished out to some people in my family so they can enjoy it really quick, and then I'm gonna come back with my pros and cons. All right, my friends, I've got this all cleaned up. I will tell you, this cup was a little challenging to get clean after doing the smoothie bowl in it. These little arms hold so tight to the side of the cup that I just had to rinse it a lot to get all of the berries and all of that stuff off of this thing. The smoothie cups were obviously very simple to clean. The cup base was very easy to rinse and clean as well. Let's start with the pros. If it's something that you want for smoothies or bowls, this is absolutely the best system I think available that Ninja makes. You have lots of varieties, a couple of different to-go accessories. So even if you have a family, you can make a few different smoothies and they're on the go. I like the to-go lids. I really actually like the idea of the smoothie bowl and this cool tamper thing. I honestly thought it was going to be a gimmick. It did work and it actually turned out really well. I also think it's relatively small. It doesn't take up a ton of real estate either on your countertop or in your cupboard. And at a price point of about $90, I think it's a great value for the money that you spend on it. Now let's talk about cons. First off, nutrient extractor. I mean, I know it's just a name, but what the hell does nutrient extractor mean? It just is it's a blender. Second, it's undeniably loud. Like probably the loudest modern blender that I've ever used, and that can be really annoying in the morning. And finally, one that was one of my pros, but it's actually a con for me, is that it's not multi-use really. I mean, really all we're talking about here is smoothies, a smoothie bowl, blended drinks, maybe some salad dressings. So it is a very specific tool to have in your kitchen. If you've got a big kitchen with lots of cupboard space, sure, it's probably a very convenient thing to have. But if you've got space for one blender and one blender only, this probably is not the tool for it. So my friends, I hope this review has been helpful in making your decision of whether or not the Ninja Foodi Smoothie Maker is right for you. As a reminder, I've linked it in the description below if you want to check it out for yourself. Also, please do me a favor, like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single review or recipe in my kitchen. Thank you so much for watching. Peace, everybody.